There is a lot of lore in patch 8.2. Most of it is quite immediate, but Blizzard have updated a certain plot thread, one that over a year ago we pointed out would be massive for the future of the lore. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Warcraft video. Yeah, we're really in for it, and I mean, like it or not, your Warcraft character canonically has seriously messed up time and time again. I mean, the player character seems to be a bit of a bumbling fool who just keeps on helping Azeroth, and, you know, having consequences. Now, would you like to be more intelligent than your WoW character? Well, while I've not quite finished my course on spotting eldritch schemes, today's sponsor, Skillshare, does have a new course that I'm pretty darn excited about. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 25,000 courses for only $10 a month on their premium subscription. That's great, but what's even better is that the first 500 people who follow my link will get 2 months of it for free. And with that, I recommend checking out this course that I have been really excited about. Design like Draplin. So Aaron Draplin is one of my favorite people over there. He's done a bunch of courses. His new Skillshare original course gives a fantastic look into how he works so fast, covering tips for before, during, and after the design process. It's been personally super useful to me. It's over 2 hours long, all broken up into super easy to digest chapters, and just look at how great the reviews for it have been as well. And that's not even covering his other amazing courses. So I'd recommend that. There's so much there. The price is super low, and what's brilliant is that you can try it all out with 2 free months with my code. So a massive thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring the channel, and let's get into the video. And we're going to start off in Warlords of Draenor. Yeah, WOD. I know, right? A bit weird. This is where it kicks off, and it really is quite wacky. So we defeated Archimonde, and we found that on his person, there was a remnant of chaos. I mean, yeah, sure, he's a pretty chaotic guy, right? That makes sense. Well, no, because we take that remnant of chaos to Malfurion, and he tells us that he's only encountered something like it once before in the Emerald Dream near the Rift of Alan, which is a place that he said radiated an ancient evil that came from the sea. He was shocked that the Legion would have had such a thing, so he quickly leaves for Val'Sharah, and of course that's where we next meet him in the Legion expansion. Archimonde had something from the Emerald Dream / Nightmare. Now, you might be wondering what this Rift of Alan is. Well, it's where we fight Xavius in the game, but it's actually a big problem place. We're not really sure what it is, but it's been speculated by the Druids that it's the place where the Emerald Dream formed, with the Druids also believing that it is connected to both the Twisting Nether and the Great Dark. So, I mean, basically time and space, right? So yeah, Archimonde, who visited the alternate timeline through the Twisting Nether, had an item from our Emerald Dream, a corrupted item, seemingly, yeah, through this whole time-space link through the Rift of Alan. How? Why? What's going on? Well, it's all via Xavius. Now, why would Xavius be working with the Burning Legion? Well, he wasn't. I mean, Malfurion says this: no doubt Xavius and his ancient master delight that so much of our attention goes to fighting the Legion. Yeah, so it was kind of a big distraction. Now, Xavius in the Stormrage novel was kind of killed-ish and then banished to the Rift of Alan, so, you know, the place that links time and space. Well, through this, he was clearly able to influence Archimonde, who, of course, had Gul'dan instigate the Legion expansion, and this was all done through N'Zoth's control of the Rift of Alan. This is, you know, something that I think gets more worrying when you realize what the Emerald Dream actually is. Why? Well, the Emerald Dream basically is Azeroth, or as an aspect of her. Here's what Chronicle has to say about it. Some believe Freya wove the Emerald Dream into being from nothing. Others claim that this strange place had always existed in some form, a dream born from Azeroth's slumbering world soul. It is said that Freya tapped into this realm and molded what would become known as the Emerald Dream as a way to commune with the nascent Titan. Yeah, I think it's pretty darn clear that the Emerald Dream is a part of Azeroth. After all, Magni even talks about the way that he communicates with Azeroth and how it's all, you know, natural things like the feeling of a sunrise. Quite simply, it all lines up. The Emerald Dream is an aspect of the World Soul. And this means that even before Legion, N'Zoth had quite a lot of control over one of clearly the most important parts of the Dream, the Rift of Alan. Now, indeed, we know that he had influence, you know, there based on the events of the novel Stormrage. Now, considering that the Dream originates from Azeroth, well, yeah, that's all pretty darn worrying. It does, of course, get worse, though. The Rift is described as a dark, deep fissure within the Dream, but it is not described as the core of the Dream. That place is the heart of the Dream, and that is the place place that we visit after the Emerald Nightmare raid, and this is where the more recent events of the Legion expansion come in that you probably will have remembered. So you're maybe thinking, why would N'Zoth have us go into the Nightmare and defeat his forces? Well, it's pretty darn clear that he had control over the Rift of Velen, but it's also super clear that he had never breached the Heart of the Dream. Well, the heart was breached. Players were invited in, because when we defeat Xavius, we're taken to the Heart of the Dream. That's what Cenarius calls it. Yeah, so we're in the very heart of the dream, which is itself something that's molded from Azeroth's world soul, but trust wait, what we're going to get into here will blow your mind. It's great. Now, we seem to get to where N'Zoth's corruption could never reach. And that's just fine, because we act as the carriers of that corruption. And it's hard to know exactly how this happens, but after we defeat Xavius and get to the heart, then as many of you will remember, the flower called the Remnant of the Void was introduced to the heart. It's there, we can see it. So either the banishment of the Rift turns into that and is taken through with us, maybe the Shadow Priest unknowingly acted as the carrier, but either way, we introduce the Remnant of the Void. Now, either way, the spirit of Ysera is drawn towards the Remnant of the Void, and Xal'atath says this, almost completely gone, as if it never existed, but the rift is deep and vast, and somewhere down there it stirs. Something has changed. The last prison weakens. We must prepare. Now, we know that Xal'atath is not really our friend. We know that now more than ever. So whenever she says we must prepare, she certainly does not mean to fight N'Zoth. She means to prepare for him coming. We then need to only look at the rest of Legion expansion. We clear out the Tomb of Sargeras, and we imprison Sargeras, while also locking up the Titans and Illidan. Now, given that Sargeras wanted to destroy Azeroth, and how the Titans want to destroy or imprison the Old Gods, that was clearly a victory for the Old Gods. It's clearly the one that is referred to as the victory that went unnoticed in Ogmot's journal, and then we also thwart the whole Illidan prophecy too. We then move into BFA, and things are initially quite faction-focused, but then, of course, we see the Crucible of Storms. We see how that is essentially a test of us. We keep on doing N'Zoth's work. We keep on proving ourselves to him. Well, later on in patch 8.2, we then establish the Heartforge. Now, as a part of this questline, the questline to sort of power it up, Kalecgos arrives, and he tells us to head to the Emerald Dream to check up on the Green Flight. When we're there, well, we see how things have progressed. We enter the heart of the dream, and we are attacked by a void horror. Now, that all seems fine, but it really isn't, because, yeah, you destroy it, and, through the fighting, you destroy the Void's tentacle. Now, that tentacle is blocking the cave where the Remnant of the Void was planted after the Emerald Nightmare raid. In its place, you find a twisted collection of roots, and you're actually able to loot the Remnant of the Void. So we kind of need to break this down, because this means a whole bunch of things. First, you actually get a Remnant of the Void whenever you loot it, and second, the old one has taken root. Now, to expand on the first point, well, it's interesting that once the Void Corruption has taken root, you're then able to loot the Remnant back to you. Now, making this lootable, that's a conscious choice by Blizzard, so we can be pretty damn sure they're doing that for a reason. Now, there's then the fact that it's taken root. What does that actually mean? Well, you've got to remember this is the heart of the dream. It all looks like nature, but then you notice there's a strange, Titan-looking construction near the entrance. To me, it's pretty clear that that is some form of entrance that's blocked up, perhaps with the runes around it meaning something. But the point is, there's something beneath the ground. There's something deeper in the heart of the dream. And, well, where do roots go? They go deeper. They penetrate down into the earth. Now, there is yet another bit of Titan information that ties into this. Mother says that she has located another Titan facility. Well, what if that is actually talking about the new Titan facility in the heart of the dream? The one from which Freya creates the dream. I mean, just look at all the tentacles that pop up out of the ground in that area, and the Void Terror. How would they just appear in the heart of the dream? Clearly, it's not down to just the Void Flower existing. It's down to that thing having taken root. That's the new bit of information here. That's what Blizzard are trying to communicate. That it's taken root, and I think it has corrupted whatever is beneath the earth there. Now, given how the Emerald Dream is deeply connected to the World Soul, this might be one of the primary ways for N'Zoth to corrupt Azeroth. I mean, if I was being really speculative here, I'd say that this is perhaps maybe only one half of the picture. I think the Dream's equivalent and opposite seems to be the Shadowlands, and I speculate that, that's tied to why the elemental force of Spirit was absorbed by the Azeroth World Soul early on. Now, given everything else that's going on with Undeath, maybe N'Zoth plans to corrupt the Shadowlands as well. Maybe that's why he manipulated Xal'atath into Sylvanas' hands. kind of hard to know, and a lot of this might seem a little bit crazy, but I do have something that's even more crazy. I mean, what if we opened up all sorts of time paradoxes and BS by saying that that deep, dark fissure in the void known as the Rift of Alan, is the void corruption, right? Now, this might be getting really time paradoxy. Remember, the Rift of Alan can connect to the Twisting Nether, which can kind of break time and space, so, what if this is the Rift being created? And yeah, okay, you could totally go wild with what this would actually implicate, especially about what power Titan World Soul actually has and how that could be manipulated, but I mean, I don't really think they're going to be doing that. Now, there is, of course, one other bit of information. Ysera is no longer present. You see, back in Legion, we saw her spirit, that it was drawn towards the Remnant of the Void. Well, now that the Remnant has taken root and has been looted by us, Ysera's gone. So what could that mean? Could the Remnant have consumed her? Is her soul now trapped in that lower, void-corrupted level of the Dream's heart? Is it possible that it was destroyed, or even corrupted by the void? All that we know is where she was last seen, and that she's now gone. And during 8.2, during the questing, characters talk about how she isn't truly gone. Well, given what I've seen, I'd hazard to guess that that is correct, but very much not in the way that those characters would hope. And then finally, 2 bits of lore that I couldn't really fit into the main video that are kind of tangentially related. So when you use the Heartforge, there's a nature magic-like effect that kind of happens. Now, given the connection between the World Soul and the Dream and the Heart, I think that's a little bit of a nod, but it could just be a spell effect that they thought was kind of cool to use. So there's that, and I mean, this doesn't likely mean much, but the Rift of Alan was entered through the Nightmare version of Lake Elunara. Remember that in Legion, we end up on a planet called Elunaria. Pretty similar names. I wonder if that's something they're doing. And I mean, come on, the Rift's connection to space and time, I just think is an interesting coincidence they could probably do something kind of cute with in the future. So there you go, a whole stack of new and interesting lore. Yeah, definitely seems like there's a lot more to the Heart of the Dream and whatever that weird, mysterious new Titan complex is. I doubt it's going to be good for us, but I'm pretty sure it will lead to another expansion or a patch or something along those lines. So, thank you very much for watching this video. Please be sure to check out today's sponsor, Skillshare. They've been fantastic in supporting this channel. And yeah, with all that, cheers. I'll see you next time.
Mm-hmm.